Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today with LogMeIn, which is all around enhancing Microsoft Teams with GoTo Connect. My name is Danielle Chapman. I work in the marketing team at Bytes, and today I'm really pleased to be joined by Joe Walsh, who is Principal Product Marketing Manager, and Jonathan Smead, who is Senior Solutions Consultant at LogMeIn. So without further ado, I'm going to pass over to Joe, who's going to handle the rest of the webinar.
Thank you very much, Danielle, and thanks for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for taking time out today to come and listen to what we've got to say about, enhancing your Microsoft Teams setup. I think this is our first webinar with Bytes in our new partnership in the UK, so we're really excited to get this relationship up and running, and we think we've some good information and good kind of insights installed for you guys today. And Jonathan, my colleague, one of our senior solution consultants, LogMeIn is going to join us as well and give you a demonstration of how our integration with Microsoft Teams works. So without further ado, we'll get started and get kicked off. So 1 second now. So just a little bit about LogMeIn, okay? LogMeIn is one of the biggest SaaS companies in the world, okay? We've revenue of over 1.2 billion and we've 4,000 employees, usually working in 25 different offices, but currently working from 4,000 different locations. It's one switch. I know it's been a real trying time for many organizations over the last 4 or 5 months since we went into lockdown and many offices shut their doors. It was a seamless enough transition, to be honest, for us at LogMeIn, because we live and breathe the work from anywhere life. Our tools, everything we sell is around gearing organizations, employees to be in touch and be collaborative and work from wherever they are at any time. And it's something that, while I guess it's been disruptive, we've actually managed that transition easy enough because we do practice what we preach and we use these tools day to day. So, and not only do we use it, we have millions of daily users that use our tools across our different platforms, and we serve billions of connections annually as well. So LogMeIn is a pretty established company in the working from anywhere space. In terms of our products and our build, okay, there's 3 pillars across all the products that we build, and that we always try and make sure they're modern and super simple to use from a user experience perspective. Okay, we know with the consumer race of IT, end users are used to using the best technology that's out there, and it's really simple and easy to use in the consumer world, and you need that experience in the businesses world as well. And that's always to the fore of our mind when it comes to building our products. We want to make sure they're as friendly to our IT teams as they are to the end users that use them as well. So that's why we always try and make sure they're as easy to deploy as they are to use. And that's a real kind of cornerstone of our architecture of all our products. And then, of course, like anything else, the control, security, the privacy that you guys demand is paramount. And security is always at the forefront of our minds when we're building our products. Our products encompass a few different sectors within IT. LogMeIn, as an organization, has products in the customer engagement space. We do a number of chatbots and AI conversational tools that a lot of organizations use to engage with their customers. And we've Rescue, which is a tool that a lot of people use to log on to customer laptops and applications and help them with troubleshooting and supporting. Within the identity and access and security world, most of you might be familiar with LastPass, which is our market-leading password security tool, which kind of aggregates all your passwords into one master platform and controls all your different login details across the various different applications and tools that you might use. And Central is also our remote access to IT servers and IT platforms and IT administration to allow IT teams to make sure they can maintain and stay on top of all the challenges and issues they have maintaining a workforce that is working from multiple different locations. And then we have Unified Communications and GoTo, and what we'll focus on today. And these are all our tools that we use within our organization and all our customers use to keep talking, keep presenting, and keeping in touch both internally and externally with their customers, their suppliers, and their prospects. We're not shy of awards. We do take a very customer-centric approach in all of what we do, and we hope we'll showcase that a little bit in terms of the next couple of slides. And we've been acknowledged, quite regularly across different analysts, different industry sectors for the different products that we have, just for the emphasis and focus we do put on our customers. Because of that, we have some fairly familiar household names that our customers are logging in. You have General Electric, you have Vodafone, you have Facebook, the North Face, Air Canada, organizations like Accenture, and LogMeIn, of course, we use all our products as well. So some pretty kind of familiar brands there that do use our products across the different business units that we have. So that's enough about LogMeIn in the background, and more about you guys and Microsoft and the tools that you use. Okay, so you're using Microsoft Teams within your organizations, and you're using that probably a lot more in the last 4 to 5 months than maybe you had done in the months prior to that. GoTo and Microsoft have a collaborative partnership. Our tools integrate and work seamless with each other, and that's what I just wanted to showcase for you guys today, to show how you can get the most out of that Microsoft Teams environment, and how you can really simplify and streamline your communications and your collaboration amongst your end users, your customers, your suppliers, your partners, and everybody that you deal with on a day-to-day basis. Just to give you a quick glance of our products in the GoTo space, we've got GoToConnect, which is our cloud-based telephony platform, and we'll focus on that predominantly today. GoToConnect is the latest product into our portfolio. It came when we acquired a company called Jive Communications, that was one of the market-leading, fastest-growing cloud-based telephony solutions in North America, and we are rolling that out across the world. We launched it into the EMEA market in the middle of last year. GoToMeeting is our market-leading video conferencing platform. GoToMeeting has been around for 15 years, believe it or not. Some people think video conferencing is a new technology that's only been launched in the last 12 months. We've actually had it, we've been there for 15 years. We've built up a huge amount of kind of understanding and knowledge and experience in the market to know how to deliver the best experience in the video conferencing world. And of course, we're bringing all that video conferencing experience to the rooms, those home offices that people are kind of rapidly setting up right now, and the people changing their own office space and using boardrooms now for smaller meetings because they need to put in those kind of social distancing rules. And because you're constantly bringing people in from outside the four walls of that office now, it's important that any rooms within the office and any home offices have the right technology to join conferences and meetings that are simple and seamless. And then we go to webinar, and what I love about doing webinars and GoToWebinar, it's a great way to showcase the tools and the capability and the power that it has. And this is the platform we're using today with Bytes. Okay, so GoToWebinar is our tool that many marketing departments and sales companies are using to stay in touch with their customers and their suppliers and their prospects, and make sure that even though their office doors are shut, those lines of communications with potential prospects don't shut as well. So GoToConnect, okay? GoToConnect is our cloud-based telephony system. It is, as I said, the latest product into our market, and what has Gartner now has put us in their Magic Quadrants for Unified Communications as a Service as a challenger in this space because of this addition to our suite. We've always been a leader in Gartner's Magic Quadrants when it comes to personal meetings and meeting solutions. Now that we've expanded our product profile, we've expanded our customer base and our global reach, we're now a fully fledged candidate for the UCaaS market, and Gartner have identified us as a serious challenger for the leaders in this space as well. And some of the reasons why we've been identified as a serious challenger is because our reliability. The reliability of our telephony platform is market leading, and I think when you look at the different providers that are out there, specifically in cloud telephony, if you compare the likes of 8x8, RingCentral, and GoToConnect versus maybe Microsoft Teams and Zoom and Google and people that historically haven't come from the telephony background, you'll always see a better performance when it comes to reliability from those people that have a history and heritage in the telephony background. And that's what we acquired when we acquired Jive Communications a couple of years ago, is that experience and that knowledge and that emphasis on making sure products are always reliable, they're always up, and that you have as little issues as possible with them. You'll always find your traditional cloud telephony players much stronger in that place versus some of the new players emerging into the space. We're a leader in performance, and a lot of that comes down to our technology and how light it is and how efficient it is in terms of bandwidth that it takes from corporate networks. You know, we use up to 50% less bandwidth than some of the leading competition in the market. And what that just means is that it just means end users have a far greater likelihood of crystal clear audio, crystal clear video, seamless kind of conversations, less jitter, less kind of interruption in their calls when using products from the GoTo suite. GoToConnect is feature rich as well. We have 100 plus features, and we'll talk a little bit more about that compared to Microsoft in terms of the power that we bring from a telephony perspective. And we're also a value leader, and that's something that's really important. Every GoToConnect seat comes with 2,500 inclusive minutes for both domestic and international calling in the UK and abroad. Okay, so every user has 2,500 minutes to ring landlines and mobiles in the UK, and there's 52 countries included in that for landline calls as well within that 2,500 minutes. So when you look at GoToConnect and you look at our price point, it's pretty much all in at that price point. There's very little extra that you would add on and charge more for. So our price point does provide a lot of organizations with a very consistent, steady cost to their telephony platform. And CFOs love that. They love being able to forecast the costs and not get any surprises. So really, from a GoTo Connect perspective, we are the value leader in the market as well. So what does all this mean in terms of Microsoft and working with Microsoft Teams and the GoTo brand? We've launched a number of different integrations with Microsoft over the last 6 to 12 months across both Outlook and Microsoft Teams and different elements of their products and services and our products and services. And it's because we complement each other really well. And like in any partnership, you find people that, complement where you're maybe not as strong. And that's something we think that GoTo does particularly well for Microsoft, and Microsoft does it particularly well for GoTo. So one thing you won't find with the GoTo brand is things like email, instant messaging, persistent chat, file sharing, to the extent that Microsoft does it through Microsoft Teams, or if anybody's familiar with Slack and how Slack do it. That's a really crucial element of collaboration today for the workforce. People are constantly using these tools. You probably use these tools or equivalent of it, maybe through Google or through Amazon quite regularly since you got into lockdown, and most likely you're probably using quite regularly before that as well. Microsoft do that extremely well. And it's a space where we're coming into a little bit, but we're not where Microsoft are, we're not where Slack are, we're not where those market leaders are in that. And that's a huge, powerful, important tool for internal communication, okay? And every organization really depends on that now from a day-to-day perspective in terms of collaboration. Where GoTo strengths are, where we've always positioned our products, is in external comms, okay? So talking to customers, talking to prospects, talking to suppliers, talking to partners, all these moments where you need to put your best foot forward, okay? You need everything to work when you need it to work. You need the best reliability, you need the best uptimes, you need the best seamless performance, you need the best experience, the best audio, the best video. That's where we really spend a lot of our time in terms of our product infrastructure and our product architecture, is getting that experience and that end user kind of experience to where it needs to be. And actually, if you look at analysts within the industry and compare our products a lot, Gartner in particular call out LogMeIn for our superiority when it comes to external communications. People like UC Today call out our strength in working with maybe networks that aren't as strong, or people working under kind of strained bandwidth conditions, where we still manage to give them a fantastic experience in terms of audio and video. Okay, so we've been notified or noticed quite a lot within the market about being really strong on that external element. And that's, if you look at how most people are using Microsoft Teams at the moment, they tend to be using it for internal communications. They're not using it through their telephony, although they're beginning to look at that route. They're not using it for contact centers because Microsoft's quite limited in that. And that's where GoTo really steps in and complements Microsoft really well, as that external communication element. And that brings us to our demonstration. Okay, I know you're all familiar with Microsoft Teams. You guys are using those platforms. I'm going to ask Jonathan now to come in and show you a demonstration of how our applications work within the Microsoft Teams environment, and give you an idea of what that collaborative experience would look like.
Yeah, thanks for that, Joe. Yeah, thanks for that, Joe. Happy to step in and show you what the integration actually looks like. And this, reinforcing what Joe said, the integration that we've done is really quite different than almost everyone else is on the market. And what we've done is we've actually integrated into Microsoft's App Store, called App Source. I'm going to walk you through a couple things. First, how to install it. So we're going to roll it out to all the users, how we can actually install it on their Teams client. Then we'll take a look at how we can, make a call from here, the functionality it gives us. So the install process is really quite straightforward. If you come to the apps within Teams, all you'll search for is Jive or GoTo Connect. And from here, all you do is simply click on the tab, click open, and then you log it into your interface that we saw earlier. And you'll see here that I have a few commands I can do. I can talk to the app, tell what I want to do. The highlight that it gives us is actually the dial pad within Teams. So, like Joe had touched on earlier, Teams is starting to get into the telco route, right? They're starting to connect to calls, but we think with what we're able to provide, especially that bundled 2,500 minutes inclusive with each of our license, we think that provides a huge value to the Teams integration. So you'll see, now that I have the dial pad up, we can go ahead and actually make a call to anyone. All our contacts are fully integrated. So you can see I can go ahead and call my cell phone, for example, and you'll see that this little pop-up comes up. I hit the green button, and now I'm talking with my cell phone, right? So the user interface, the functionality of that is really simple, really easy to use, and provides a ton of value. On top of just this interface, you also get all the features and benefits that Joe had discussed before. One of the other things you can also do is you can also manage the, so I'm getting, okay. So one of the things you can also do is also manage your voicemails from here. So included in the license is the ability to have voicemails, have IVRs, have ring groups, hunt groups, and be able to manage all that really from within this one simple interface. So we really want to use Teams as a front end and just have the calls complete over our back end. So that was the demonstration of the integration between Microsoft Teams and GoTo. So Joe, I'll hand it back over to you if there's any other questions in this. Any questions on the interface?
Okay, cheers for that, Jonathan. Appreciate it. That demonstration, guys, is short and it's fairly simple and straightforward, and that's because it's the way it's been built to be short, simple, and straightforward. Okay, I talked about that at the top of the presentation, where we really try to focus on ease of use, ease of deployment, both for end users and for the IT teams that we work with. We want to make your lives as simple as possible. And that's why I just want to kind of cover 5 advantages of the GoTo Connect and the Microsoft Teams integration from a telephony perspective. Where we talk about complementing Microsoft, one of the areas we do really complement it, particularly when it comes to capability that is critical as your telephony. Okay, when it comes to instant messaging and it comes to maybe group chat, if there's a bit of a breakdown, if it takes an extra few seconds for an instant message to arrive into someone's Microsoft Teams app, that's okay. It's not really going to interrupt experience that much. If it takes an extra bit of time to load up a file, that's fine. It's not really going to hamper the experience that an end user is having. If you have a bit of a delay or a bit of jitter on a voice call or a video call, right, it's a different ballgame. Okay, that is going to cause frustration on a call. It could cause a breakdown in communication. You've probably all experienced this yourselves over the last 5 to 6 months when people have been working in areas where they've maybe struggled a little bit with bandwidth. You want to minimize as much as possible those frustrations, specifically on calls where you're talking to customers, or you're talking to prospects, or you're talking to suppliers or partners, where you're discussing important things that you need everybody to be attentive. You don't want to be sidetracked by frustrations in terms of reliability and performance. And that's something when it comes to uptime and SLAs with GoTo versus Microsoft in the telephony space, you just get improved reliability and you get that improved performance. Okay, if you check sites like downdetector.com and stuff like that, you'll actually see that since COVID struck over the COVID crisis, the GoTo platforms have actually been 4 times more reliable than the Microsoft Teams platforms. Okay, and again, you wouldn't notice that much in terms of instant messaging and group chat, but when it comes to video conferencing and telephony, you notice that a lot more. So the add-on there with the GoTo is that we really strengthen the reliability and performance of the solution. From a telephony perspective, it's a more powerful telephone system. Okay, it comes with more functions and features. So, for example, we support fax. Okay, I don't think Microsoft supports fax within their telephony platform. We have more capability when it comes to call queues and creating call queues. In fact, with Microsoft as well, Microsoft in many ways is a prepaid telephony system. Okay, because you got to buy either your calling plans. Okay. And then anything outside of those calling plans, you need to have topped up communication credits, okay? And that's going to fall on someone within the IT team to make sure there's always a sufficient balance within communication credits to make calls, because if the balance runs to 0, you can't make a call that gets barred. So if you don't have an international calling plan with Microsoft Teams and someone tries to make an international call, it won't go through unless the account has been pre-topped up with communication credits. Okay, so with GoTo, you're getting a far more powerful kind of telephone system overall than you will with Microsoft. And that power, also goes into our PBX administration tools, okay, and how easier it is to manage our platform, okay. And one of the big standout features we have is our dial plan editor. It's a very intuitive, simple drag and drop feature that allows you to change those call queues, those call groups, ring groups, the flow of your calls, very simple and very effortlessly using our dial plan editor from anywhere as well. In terms of our customer support, we provide our premium customer support to all our customers, okay. We've actually recently acquired someone from the Microsoft team that was working in the support area, and they've helped us work with our support to kind of assess where we are versus Microsoft, and they stand over that we've faster resolve times than Microsoft would have. We've faster times of human response than Microsoft would have, and any premium support you're going to have to pay additional dollars for as well with the Microsoft team. So we do feel we have a stronger customer support offering, and I showcased earlier on the awards we've gotten for our customer-centric approach, how important it is that we make sure it's easy to use for both the end users and the administrators, and that passes into our customer support process as well, okay. So we do think you get a more enhanced customer support offering, particularly on that telephony element and those external communications when you use the Microsoft and GoTo together. And ultimately, we think you get more value for money with lower costs per user per month when you're merging all these telecommunications together. So we recently spoke to a customer, a law firm in Dublin, that they've about 500 users, and they're currently using kind of Microsoft Teams for all their internal comms. They're using it for their video conferencing. They've Mitel as a telephony system, and they've also Starleaf in as a video conferencing platform as well for their room video conferencing experience. And they're looking at trying to kind of streamline that and make that more efficient. And what they're looking at is they can actually remove the Mitel PBX when it becomes end of life. They can remove the Starleaf video conferencing by using the Microsoft Teams and the GoTo integrations, and they bring it all into one simple solution, and they reduce some of the noise for the end users as well, because there's some overlapping products within those product set as well. And because you're streamlining like that, you just get far more value for money. You reduce the total cost of ownership, and directly you reduce the cost of ownership between Microsoft and GoTo when you bring them together. And I'll show you that in a minute from a UK perspective, but just to emphasize as well from a customer support and customer experience element. If you look at sites like Trust Radius, Gartner Peer Insights, Software Advice, G2.com, GetApp, they have thousands of end user reviews across all their sites, and they consistently score GoTo higher when it comes to customer support and customer experience. Okay, and that further adds some proof points to our claims that we think from that customer experience and customer support perspective, you're in a stronger position using Microsoft and GoTo together, particularly when you look at all those external communications from your organization. And just to show you from a finance perspective, GoTo you can get from £14.95 per user per month, okay. If you're using Microsoft, it depends on the licenses that you have, okay. I will caveat, so most people will have an E1 or an E3 license. Some might have E5 or getting there. Just focusing on E1 and E3 licenses and those kind of variants. What you probably don't have included in your Microsoft Teams with that is audio conferencing. You don't have the ability to add the phone system, and you don't have any calls, both domestic calls and international calls. So if you're an organization with over 300 users and you're not using E5 licenses, you're looking at about £27.10 in add-ons per user per month to get all that telephony capability through Microsoft Teams, where you get that for £14.95 with GoTo. Okay, if you have less than 300 users a month, you do have Microsoft's new business PBX offering that they have for organizations with less than 300 users. Okay, but again, you're still looking at about £21.05 in add-ons with that tool versus GoTo's £14.95 per user per month to get that same experience. And don't forget, with that lower price point, you've all those things we talked about as well, the kind of better reliability and performance. You got the easier PBX administration tools, you got more capabilities and more functions within the PBX tools, and you've got a better kind of overall experience. And also, you've got two different elements of your comms platform, which gives you that security. Should one go down, you have the other one as well in place. If it's all in with the Microsoft Teams basket, and Microsoft Teams goes down, your entire comms platform is down as well. So that's just the value add with the GoTo integration and the Microsoft Teams integration. So guys, that brings to conclusion the slides that we have today for the conversation. We're more than happy to invite Danielle back up now, and we can take any questions that the audience might have. We're happy to field them for them.
Thank you very much. So we've got a few questions come in. So we've got, how do you transfer calls?
Jonathan, I'm going to let you field that, being the techie.
Yeah, so actually within the little pop-up that comes up in the top right, there's an option to transfer calls within there.
Perfect. So can you do hunt groups?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. And pickup groups as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And auto attendance?
Yep, we do have auto attendance.
Brilliant. Okay, so we've got another question here. So does the telephone platform cover recording for legal retention, like Verba, for example?
Correct, it would. And on that note, we do partner with AWS on the storage piece. So you do have the ability to store your own recordings for as long as you need to. But yes, we're able to do that. And a note on the auto attendance and the pickup, the hunt groups, you can have as many of those as you'd like as well. It's not just you get 2 or 3 included license. You can have multiples without incurring an additional charge on those either.
Oh, okay, that's great. Thank you so much. I think that's all the questions that we've had today. But if anyone does think of any questions, as I mentioned earlier, you can just pop those in the survey at the end or just email them through to the email address on the screen at the moment. So thank you so much, Joe and Jonathan, for today. Thank you for speaking and thank you all for joining. I really hope that you're staying sane in this hot weather if you're affected by it. So I'm going to leave it there, but thank you so much, guys. And yeah, please do fill out the survey if you've got a minute or two.
Thanks very much, everybody, for your time. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Danielle.
Thanks
for having us on.
Thanks. Bye.